Hi everybody, I'm Kathleen. Welcome to my kitchen. Tonight we're going to make my favorite vegan dinner recipe, cauliflower buffalo tacos, inspired by the amazing Angela Liddon of Oh She Glows. This is her cookbook, Oh She Glows for Dinner. And I also wanted to mention Forks Over Knives also has a great cauliflower buffalo taco recipe, and it uses flour instead of cashews. So I'll put a link to that one also. But I've tweaked the recipe to make it my own for a few reasons. But the first thing we're gonna do is get a nice, beautiful head of cauliflower, organic if possible, and we're gonna cut it into bite-sized pieces. So cauliflower it's like a brain, and this is like the brain stem. So first we wanna just work the knife into the back of the cauliflower. For those of you who are new to cooking, I've been there. So sometimes things that seem simple aren't so simple when you're used to cooking, and we can just actually make that part a few little bite-sized pieces also. And then it's up to you. I like to cut it. I just like to start cutting down. You could cut it in half instead, whatever works for you. The smaller, really, for me, I think the better. If you were making a cauliflower steak, oh, that would have been a perfect, that would have been a perfect one. But we're actually going to cut off those ends and get rid of that. And put them in a bowl here, and then we're going to make our special sauce and coat them real well. So I'm just going to keep going, cutting up this, and the bigger the cauliflower, the better. And if it's small, grab 2. And of course, when possible, get organic, because we don't want chemicals on our food when possible. All right, so I've cut up the whole cauliflower. I left a little bit of stems on there. That's up to you, just to give it a little more volume, more food for dinner. And now the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make the cashew batter and the cashew sour cream all at one time. So this is kind of our own creation at home. First thing I do is soak 2 cups of cashews. Not necessarily have to be soaked if they're in a Vitamix, but I wanted to show that I do get them from Costco. This is the Kirkland brand, and it's 2.5 pounds, and it's $14. And according to my husband, it used to be $20. So there's something that's actually come down in price. And we just use them for everything. So I'm gonna do 2 cups of these. They've been soaking. And then I'm gonna start with a cup of water. And you may have to add a little more. We're gonna see here. All right, and then I'm gonna add a couple other things. I'm gonna do a half a teaspoon of salt. You can omit the salt. I actually will probably even add, one more. So to give the sour cream a little tang, you can add some fresh squeezed lemon juice. And I'm gonna do 2 teaspoons, but you could do even tablespoons if you love lemon juice and you're not sensitive to it. So that's gonna be for the mayonnaise part, and I'll just show you how we're gonna do this. We're gonna blend it all and then divide it in half. Okay, so I blended the cashew mixture on high. I spared you the loud noise for a minute because you wanted to get it nice and creamy. I hope you can see that in there. And then I'm actually gonna divide this up. So a cup of this is going to be the sour cream drizzle when the tacos are done. This just helps you to not have to use your Vitamix twice in a row when it can really all be done at once, we've learned. So this is about a cup, and I'm just gonna keep this aside. And the great thing with this is that you can use it on other things. And if you don't use it all in your tacos, you can freeze it and use it again, and it can also be thinned out with a little water. So that's up to you. So I'm gonna save that for the topping. And now we're gonna add just one more ingredient to dip the cauliflower bites in, and I am gonna use tomato paste. You can use 2 tablespoons of sriracha. You can also use 2 tablespoons of your favorite salsa. And I am using tomato paste just because it seems to help me a little bit better, but it's up to you. Now the Forks Over Knives recipe actually uses tomato paste, and that's where I got the idea. But again, their batter is with flour. Okay, so just one, because this is pretty thick compared to the salsa. And if you weren't going to use the mayonnaise, sour cream for other things, you could blend it all together with the salsa, and you can just have salsa sour cream on top. But we do like to save that and use it for other things. And then we're going to blend these ingredients together here real quick. Okay, I blended in the tomato paste. Now we're going to pour it over the cauliflower. And it's a nice texture. It's not too thick, so make sure about that. You can always add a little water, but it is good to start with less water so you can add. Because if it's too thin, then you'd have to add more cashews. Okay? We'll clean that out off camera. Now I'm going to give it a good stir, because this is really important to get them nice and coated. It's a very simple recipe. Not only is it my favorite, but it's actually pretty simple. And of course, like anything in life, it just takes practice. The more you do it, the faster you'll get, and you'll find your own ways that work for you. Okay, make sure you stir it real good and get everything coated. And we're going to spread it out. Be sure and use parchment paper. I also have the silicone mat under, but it is a little messy, and I have learned that it's better to use the mat. Okay. And then you just want to spread it out evenly. We have the oven pre-baking at 425. And they are going to cook for 45 minutes. Okay, they are done. They cooked for 45 minutes at 425. And you want to make sure they're crispy, and those look amazing. And if you like them even more spicy, you can add some paprika to your batter. Just make it your own, whatever you like. This is the fun part. These are so delicious. You can put them, of course, on tortillas, grain-free, corn, whatever you like. I actually love to put them on these romaine lettuce leaves for many reasons. I need to get more greens in, and I love the crunch, and it just is a really nice way of eating them. It is a little light, so I do add a side of refried beans to them also. And then I have chopped up some yummy vegetables here. Purple cabbage, cilantro, and you can use white or red onions. And you can just dip these in the sour cream batter that we made also. Okay. And then we can garnish. Again, I just like having more vegetables, especially raw vegetables, in my diet, which I don't get enough of. And a little onion, you can play with it, be creative, do a little food art. Let's see, we need onion. Actually gonna put on the sauce first. Here is our cashew sour cream that we made initially. And you can thin it out if you prefer, whatever you want. We need probably some more, don't we? Getting a little too light. Okay, and then you could add sriracha, salsa, nothing, it's just up to you. Not everybody can do spicy, though, so that is one of the reasons I use tomato paste in the batter. These are gonna be for my husband. He knows better what's spicy than I do. And then I just wanted to show you real quick, we use Trader Joe's refried beans. These are fat-free refried beans, so we do a side of those also, and it's amazing. And again, I just like to pop them in my mouth. It's hard to refrain sometimes when I'm making them because I just want to eat them because they're so good. So I hope you really enjoy this recipe. Again, make it your own. Let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, thank you for saving animals with your food choices.